thank you for returning to my vlog. What I wanted to talk about today a little bit was, first I wanted to say thank you to my husband, my son, and my hiking partners. It's been an interesting couple months walking through this process and doing this with you, so thank you for that. So it is the Saturday morning. We did a little bit of hiking yesterday and camped at Jerry Lake. It is beautiful. The temperature was good. Very warm. I'll put some pictures up around here where you can see what the temperature looked like. It was very noisy. I'll let you get a chance to hear how talkative the animals were. There's an otter right outside of our camp that was splashing quite a bit last night when we came into camp. Lots of birds, lots of critters. My expectations for this trip is to implement what I've tried. Everything you do when you go camping is a testing. Everybody in the business world hates the dreaded testing word, right? Because there's so much to it to do it right. But right now, yesterday the weather was supposed to be beautiful and warm all day today, and now it looks like we might get some sunshine and rain this morning, so hopefully we can be dried out enough by the time we get to camp, or it could be an interesting setup. And then tomorrow is supposed to be a little bit more rainy as well, so maybe that'll make us walk faster. But my expectations is just to enjoy being out in nature and seeing how well I adjusted. The new backpack is nice and light. I'm loving it. My new overquilt was perfect. A friend of mine actually made me a sleeping bag liner out of a top sheet that we didn't use anymore, and it just kept everything nice and warm. No feet got cold. It was a good night. It was definitely an enjoyable night of sleep. We are at camp on Jerry Lake. Listen to that nature. One of the things that was also pretty interesting about this was we planned for the weather expecting it to look like this. However, on Saturday the temperature was really hot. We didn't end up having a lot of the water sources that we were looking for to have available to us, so dehydration and heat was a big issue, especially when the temperature actually ends up being this. 10 degrees, 10-15 degrees makes a big difference when you're hiking, especially during the midday, up and down hills through all kinds of different terrain, which is what we ended up doing. So on this hike, one of the things that was really interesting, when you're planning a hike or a project, you end up usually planning for your hike and you hope it ends up turning out like this. Nice, beautiful trail, spacious, easy to walk through. However, sometimes you end up hiking through this. And in order to get around it, you have to do a lot of bushwhacking, which we did, or end up, ankle deep in mud. This will happen in life, on anything you do, adventures, work projects. You just have to be willing to take a look around and see what your options are. Sometimes it's a little painful, but overall, it's less painful than what you had in front of you. Good morning. It's the morning of day 2. Yesterday was very hot, so last night getting into camp, warm food wasn't as important as I thought it would be. But normally this time of year you wouldn't be. The mosquitoes weren't out, but there's gnats and the ticks are out in force, so all those good yucky critters. But one of the things we did see when we got to camp was the porcupine. So I guess day 1 was an adventure, very hot, very rugged. Some of the scenery was amazing, but I don't know if through hiking is for me. We'll find out more. One thing I also wanted to talk about was, initially I had a video when I was there on Saturday morning on what my expectations of the hike were. I have to admit, the hike did not match my expectations simply because I wasn't expecting the heat to be such an impact, and I wasn't expecting the water sources for us to be able to filter to be as infrequent or the quality of what they were. Because of that, I was concerned about heat injury because of how hot and how much we were sweating and how little water we were drinking at certain times. That's something to take into consideration. I don't know that the through hiking part is what I want to be doing unless I'm much more confident in the water, ability to get water. So more than likely what I'll probably end up doing on becoming a 1,000-miler with the Ice Age Trail is going to be more around day hikes or camping in one spot and then hiking out from around there, or traveling from point A to point B in a car and hiking back to another spot. I will admit though, I don't think I'll ever camp in a tent again because I really like the comfort of the hammock. I did not have any back problems, any knee problems, any hip problems. The hiking poles helped a ton, especially with the hill and the terrain that we were going through. But overall, I just woke up much more physically refreshed sleeping in a hammock. The other thing is, if I'm going to be doing through hiking, it'll probably be more in the summer where it's easier to keep the pack weight light, and then I could pack more water. You don't need as much to keep you warm, type of a thing. One of the things I found interesting in one of the videos I was watching, the Constantine video where he did the through hike of the Ice Age Trail, where I laughed at, his pronunciations and the bugs and all those complaints that are pretty typical of a person who's not native to Wisconsin coming in and trying to read the names and surprised at how buggy certain spots are. But one of the things he did, which I thought was very interesting, was he never talked about actually cooking food. And as hot as it was on Saturday, I had no desire whatsoever to cook any food. So you don't have that type of stuff to bring with you. It makes it a little bit easier and a little bit lighter pack. But then you have to make sure the food you bring doesn't have to be refrigerated either. So there's pros and cons of going that method too. But so overall expectations, there will be a lot of funny stories talked about with this trip. There's some great picture this springtime with the flowers starting to bloom. It was really nice to see all that stuff. Unfortunately, it also started blooming all the gnats and the bugs, which I'm not that big of a fan of. Tick season this year was pretty bad. Fortunately for us, we didn't actually get any on us. We did treat our equipment in advance, so that was a good catch on our end. So overall, it was an adventure. Definitely not what I was expecting exactly, but it was definitely a good adventure. Again, thank you for coming on this journey. Over the summer I'll be taking a little bit more time off. It's getting pretty busy on the project I'm on, but my son's graduating from high school, so we have a lot of items that we'll be working through. But stop back, we will be doing some more vlogs, probably once every couple weeks, just going through the basics of the study guide that I need to be studying for and focusing on some of the key study areas or knowledge areas in the book. So thank you for joining me on this journey, and hope to see you again soon.